The Golden Gate Bridge was built to link San Francisco with Marin County. Before the bridge was built, people only could travel across the San Francisco Bay by ferry. In the 1920s, engineer and bridge builder Joseph Strauss decided that a bridge should be constructed instead. However, many others opposed Strauss, and some called it the bridge that couldn't be built. They thought it was impossible due to 60-mile-per-hour winds, high ocean currents, fog, and that they began the Golden Gate Project during the Great Depression. In spite of all these arguments, Strauss persisted. On May 5, 1923, the California State Legislature passes a law creating the Golden Gate Bridge and Highway District. On August 27, 1930, Strauss submits the final plans, and the Art Deco design and international red color were chosen for the bridge, and the construction began on January 5, 1933. The workers started by removing large amounts of solid rock to create a base for the concrete anchorage blocks. Pylons are constructed on solid ground underwater, and the cables are draped between the pylons and attached to land on each end of the bridge. Two main cables pass over the tops of the main towers and are secured in the concrete anchorages. The bridge is made of mostly steel and concrete, but each cable was made out of 27,572 strands of wire. One of the most interesting facts about the Golden Gate Bridge project was that only 11 people died during construction, when other bridge builders expected 35 people to die instead. One of the bridge's safety innovations was a net suspended under the floor. The net saved 19 men during construction of the Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge project was completed in the year 1937, a prominent date in San Francisco history. On May 27, the bridge opened to pedestrians, and the next day it opened to automobiles. The same year it was completed.
The first geometric term used in the Golden Gate Bridge is definition of a rectangle, because the towers are quadrilaterals with two pairs of congruent sides. Next is definition of a triangle, because when the suspension cables connect from towers to the bridge, it forms triangles. The third term we used is right triangles, because the angles of triangles formed are 90 degrees. Fourth, we have complementary angles, because complementary angles are two acute angles that form a right angle when their measurements are added together. Fifth, we have vertical angles, because on the structures under the towers below the bridge is two angles that form opposite rays. Sixth, we have linear pair, because one of the towers and the bridge form adjacent angles. Seventh, we have supplementary angles, because on a linear pair the angles are supplementary adjacent, which means they are both a total of 180 degrees. Eighth, we have definition of straight angle, because the bridge measures 180 degrees because it forms supplementary angles with one of the towers adjacent to it. Ninth, we have definition of perpendicular lines, because when the whole tower intersects the bridge, they form a right angle. 10th, we have definition of acute angle, because on the right triangle we have two complementary angles, which are acute angles. 11th, we have legs, which are two sides that form the right angle on the right triangle that is formed. 12th, we have hypotenuse, which is the side opposite of the right angle. 13th, we have definition of a square, because the quadrilateral surrounding the vertical angles is a quadrilateral with congruent sides and angles. 14th, we have definition of an angle, because when we form the right triangle, we have two rays that share the same initial point to form the right angle. Last, we have definition of vertex, because a vertex is the initial point in which two rays meet to form the right triangle.
In conclusion, we have learned that there are different kinds of geometric terms being used to design structures that we can use in everyday life. We have also learned that these geometric terms have helped the structure to stay standing, and that it is important to know how to prove things such as shape congruencies and the measures of angles, and how to prove an angle is the correct angle.